Mia had always been beautiful, but beauty alone didn't pay the bills. She grew up in a small town where dreams were too big for the people who lived there. Her mother worked 2 jobs, and her father had left when she was only 6. She had spent her childhood flipping through magazines, tracing the faces of models and actresses with her fingertips, imagining a life where she was one of them. The lights, the glamour, the admiration, it was all she ever wanted. So at 19, she packed a suitcase, took the little money she had saved from her job at a local diner, and bought a one-way bus ticket to Los Angeles. The city of dreams, the city of illusions. She arrived with no plan, no connections, only the blind hope that someone would see her potential and whisk her into stardom. Reality hit quickly. Casting calls were brutal. Hundreds of girls, all beautiful, all desperate, all willing to do whatever it took. Mia went to every audition she could find, only to be met with rejection after rejection. Too short, too tall, not the right look. Maybe next time. She worked as a waitress to keep herself afloat, barely making enough to pay for her tiny studio apartment that smelled of mildew and broken promises. One night, after a long shift, she met Adrian Russo. He was older, maybe mid-40s, dressed in an expensive suit that reeked of power. He sat at the bar, watching her with an amused smile. When she brought him his drink, he slid his business card across the counter. "You have a stunning face," he said. "Ever thought about acting?" Mia's breath caught. She had heard lines like this before, but something about Adrian felt different. His confidence, his aura. She hesitated before taking the card. "I have," she admitted, "but it's harder than it looks." "Everything worth having is." He leaned in slightly. "I could help you." She studied him, wary yet intrigued. "Why would you?" "Because talent needs opportunity, and I happen to know people who can open doors for you." She stared at the card in her hand. Adrian Russo, talent manager, a website, a phone number. "Think about it," he said, leaving a $100 tip before walking out. Mia thought about it, and the next day she called. Adrian was true to his word. Within weeks, he got her an audition for a small commercial, then a role in a music video. Slowly, the opportunities came, and with them, the taste of success. He took her to exclusive parties, introduced her to producers, directors, influencers. She was suddenly in rooms she had only seen in magazines, brushing shoulders with the people she had idolized. And then the offers became bigger, but so did the price. One night, Adrian took her to dinner at a high-end restaurant. Over wine and candlelight, he leaned in and said, "Mia, I have a role for you. A lead in an indie film that's getting a lot of buzz. It could be your big break." Her heart raced. "That's amazing. When's the audition?" He tilted his head. "There is no audition. The director, he's interested in you, but he wants to get to know you first. Privately." Mia's excitement dimmed. She knew what that meant. She set down her glass. "I don't do that." Adrian sighed, as if he had expected this. "Mia, sweetheart, this is Hollywood. No one gets to the top without playing the game." Her stomach turned. "So that's how you see me, as someone to sell?" "No," he said, voice smooth as silk. "I see you as someone with potential, but potential means nothing without opportunity. And opportunity, my dear, is rarely free." She went home that night feeling sick. She stared at herself in the mirror, at the girl who had once been so naive, so hopeful. She thought about the girls who had made it, the ones who had risen overnight. Were they all playing the game? Was that what success required? Days passed and she ignored Adrian's calls. But then her landlord slipped an eviction notice under her door. Her bank account was nearly empty. She had no backup plan, no way out. Desperation made choices for her. She called Adrian back. That night, she met the director. He was older, his smile too wide, his compliments too sweet. She let him kiss her, let him take her to his penthouse, let him have what he wanted. And a week later, she got the role. The film was a success. Critics praised her performance. Doors that had once been locked swung open. Mia was invited to exclusive events, cast in bigger projects, showered with praise. Her social media following exploded. She had finally made it. But every time she stepped onto a red carpet, she felt the weight of what she had done. The whispers followed her, the rumors, the knowing glances from men who saw her as just another girl who had slept her way to the top. She tried to convince herself it didn't matter, that the world was unfair and she had only done what she had to do, but the success felt hollow, the admiration meaningless. Then she met Ethan. He was different, a writer struggling but passionate. He saw her as more than a face on a screen. With him, she felt real, alive, loved. But she never told him the truth. One night after a gala, a producer made a crude remark about her past right in front of Ethan. The color drained from his face. Later, when they were alone, he asked, "Is it true?" Mia's throat tightened. "Ethan, it's complicated." He stepped back. "So it is true." She reached for him, but he pulled away. "I thought you were different," he whispered before walking out the door. Mia stood there, surrounded by everything she had ever wanted, and realized she had never felt emptier. The price of beauty had been higher than she ever imagined, and she was still paying it.